Like, we're just beating this dead horse.
I tried to talk about intimacy and attraction, and then it goes back to drinking.
I don't understand how can't put the two together. Like, in my mind, they are very similar.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is. We're back with another one. Yes, we're here talking to you guys about Married at First Sight, and yes, the Adidas is back in play. Listen, don't watch that. This is the wisdom. Listen, you ain't got the minerals, baby. You ain't got the minerals. Are you muddy, you lean? Listen, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and you already know all that jazz. Yeah, we're going to talk to you about Kate and Luke. That's become a favourite topic of mine because he's become like our favourite villain, as I kept saying last week.
To get that conversation out there.
Yeah. I don't think we've thought about it yet, kind of.
Haven't thought about it.
Yeah, not really.
Why would you not talk about it?
I don't know. We just haven't brought it up at all. We're just living.
I can't believe Luke is for real. It blows my mind that him and Kate have not talked about decision day at all yet. It's not like deciding on who's doing the dishes tonight or who's going to take out the trash. This is the future.
I'm just saying, that's how we roll.
I feel like you don't want anyone to feel blindsided.
So it's going to be a surprise?
No, I don't know. We just haven't talked about it at all yet. So everybody's just straight up talked about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, talking about Kate and Luke, one of the things I noticed was obviously very early on when Luke was chatting with the boys, everybody has discussed deadline day. Yeah, because it's one of the most important days of everybody's life where you decide whether you want to be in this relationship, this marriage, or not. And Luke is saying that he hasn't thought about it. I'm a bit miffed, like, how have you not thought about it, Luke? And I just started to realise, if he's not thought about it, and he mentioned it later on actually when Kate actually brought it up to him and said, look, have you thought about deadline day? And he said it's so arbitrary, basically. It's like, it's nothing big, do you know what I mean? It's not, let me even research arbitrary before I say anything. It's a personal whim. I don't even get it. My brain can't complete that. But anyway, all I know is that it wasn't an important day for Luke. Do you get me? He let it known. Do you know what I'm saying? And even Kate was surprised. Like, hold on a minute. How can you not know that? The equivalent of Luke saying that is the equivalent of a man saying, I don't know what we are. It's like, how can you have not vision? We are going to decide on deadline day whether we actually going to be in a relationship forever, and you haven't thought about it. It's been, what, 9 weeks or something like that? And you ain't thought about it? He lying. Listen, for him, he has no vision beyond this show. After the show is done, he's done. Like, he ain't trying to be in this relationship. If he stays in this is mental torture, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical torture for Kate. And she doesn't need to be there. She needs to make a choice and say, listen, deadline day, Megan. You understand? Listen, because people like Luke here, no offense to him, but they're in a game. You know what I'm saying? And someone else's heart, it's not the time to start playing with people's hearts. You're a grown man. Let's start dealing with those issues that you have. Let's not allow your past, whatever, to destroy somebody's future. Do you get what I'm saying? Deep that. It's also interesting as well, Luke never ever releases information when it comes to the boys about what he's doing. And that's scary because he is not a very trusting person and he's very secretive about his things. Now, we found out from the last episodes where he was telling Kate to be secretive about their sex that they were having within the relationship from the honeymoon up until now. And he transfers that particular skill onto the men too. So he makes sure, again, this is, I don't want to say, it's almost like an abusive tactic where you keep a lot of elements of your relationship very low key. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. People like to keep their business to their business, not a problem. But seeing that these other three men are the only men that have gone through what you're going through at the moment, no one else is married at first sight, so you're in a unique position that you don't share any information in regards to you and Kate. None. Nuada. He doesn't ever, apart from the fact that he said they haven't spoke about deadline day, doesn't release any other information to the boys. You see the same thing that was also when they were having, I think, after they got married, they went to have, was it lunch or whatever in the pub? Same kind of way, releasing just tidbits of information, never ever, being open about what actually happens within his. And so I just noticed and I was like, okay, that secretive behaviour is a continual process. He's kept it going even with the boys. And it's just so that people can't get close to the relationship. Can't get close to the relationship, can't critique it. Can't critique it, can't let him know that he's moving mad. Simple as. But that's why the boys got onto him and said, listen, have you not thought about deadline day? they got onto him. Because like, fam, how could you not think about it? Come on, deep what you're actually saying, fam. This is a decision for the rest of your life. You haven't thought about it for 9 weeks. You're lying. You're lying. Or you already know what you're gonna do. Kate as well said in between that part as well that, you know what, they that they, you know, she's feeling a bit good about the relationship. I was like, Kate, what do you mean you're feeling good about the relationship of late?
Lately, we have been really good. I enjoy being around him. I feel like emotionally connected to him. We cuddle, we hug, like hold hands, all of that.
I was like, this is classic, as we were saying, push-pull tactics. He chooses the right time to kind of fill you in and make you feel nice. And actually, he will show you in the car at the end. He says, you know what?
I was really happy with you this weekend, honestly.
Right.
I was really happy with you this weekend. I was really happy with you this weekend.
Sorry? So I was really happy with you this weekend. Sorry, hold on a minute. What do you mean I was? You had to look, you had to say that you're not the problem. You're saying I was very happy with you. Again, he's just shifting the blame. Again, he's shifting the blame to the other person, deflecting, reflecting, making sure the blame goes onto Kate. In fact, this is what we've seen all the relationship, all the way through every episode. And this episode, we got to see how it really works in action.
I was really happy with you this weekend, honestly.
Right. That's why
I
I
know.
don't think it's a problem, is because
But that
you
was-
told me that it was a problem. And then I was like, you know what? I have been drinking a lot more. And you can see, obviously, that I'm trying to improve.
And now we see, especially, that there's a lot of things he does off camera that he doesn't want us to see. And the reason why I said it doesn't get documented, because, you know, when he even at the end of the car, I'm jumping ahead of it of myself and saying, obviously, when he got to the car scene, he said, obviously, what, you want to redo this on camera?
What I'm saying, if you want to have this talk on camera, if that's what you want to do, we can do it. I would prefer not to.
Okay, fine.
But if you want to, we can.
I just want the truth.
Like, he was trying to psychologically psych her out of talking about some deep issues on camera. Hence why in the bedroom earlier on, when she mentioned about that she spoke to Dr. Pepper, whatever her name is, he said, oh, okay, let's just go.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Stop. That's fine.
Because again, it's not about doing it on camera for Luke. Then he can't be critiqued. When he can't be critiqued, he can't be told off. That's why earlier on in the episodes, when Pastor Carl said to him, "We need to talk," he said he didn't like being told off. Yeah, he doesn't like it. So he makes sure that his stuff that happens behind closed doors, so no one else can tell him off. And that's why, because he knows he's moving mad. And if he brings that to the foreplay, there will be questions, there will be repercussions, and there will be consequences, and they're asking of change of behavior. That's why he keeps it behind closed doors. Cool.
You and Kate go. How has it been? How's the relationship been up to this point?
It's definitely lots of ups and downs already. We are just, woo.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sort of a roller coaster type situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right.
I'm definitely nervous to talk to Pastor Cal. After Kate's talked to him, I don't know what she's told him, so I'm kind of going in blind. And there's definitely things that happened on the honeymoon that I don't want to bring to light. Makes me uncomfortable to talk about those kind of things, and I would prefer not to, and just keep it private. Pastor Cal is my first expert experience, so having him lean into me about what happened on the honeymoon is not what I expected, and it's definitely freaking me out as well.
See, Kate, when she's talking to the girls about, obviously, the situation in terms of her and Luke, you can tell by her face and her body language that she's just crying out for help, and she gets that exit or that way out through Jasmine, and so she has a conversation with Jasmine, then obviously spills the beans down. She's evidently contemplating whether she really should tell Jasmine, but the situation is just too hot. She lets Jasmine know, obviously, the situation. You know, and you can tell that, obviously, that these two are engaging in a good conversation because they're both open body language, both staring at each other, both just being delicate in terms of giving each other time to actually speak, being qualitative, being quality minded in terms of actually listening, hearing what each other is saying, and then obviously allowing a person to speak, and then obviously regurgitating, then replying. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was interesting for me because obviously the fact that, you know, she told Jasmine, and then she has to tell Luke that she told Jasmine, and then Luke then used that against her and said, oh, he said something which is so manipulative. He said,
This weekend, I also talked to Jasmine about it. I know that we talked about keeping our intimacy more private.
I know you never do.
I'm sorry, I said.
I already figured you did anyway.
Why would you figure that?
Because everything that you said you weren't going to talk about, you do to someone before you tell me you're going to do it.
I already knew, yeah, that you would have told, because you know you can't keep your mouth shut. And what does that do? Instantly, yeah, that puts Kate on the back burner, thinking to herself, hold on a minute, wait, I know that he told me he shouldn't tell anybody, and now he's blaming me again once more for not being able to keep my mouth shut. And what happens is the person becomes a victim of themselves. They start to blame themselves, say, I'm the problem, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to get Kate into a place where she blames herself and says she's the problem. And so what he did was he said, yeah, I already knew. He didn't know that he shouldn't tell Jasmine. He did not know he was going to tell Jasmine. But when it came out, he had to make sure that he regained power in the situation by saying, I already know. If he says that I already know, it basically lets Kate know in her head that, oh, this guy knows everything. So everything that happens, everything I'm about to do, he knows everything. I can't lie to him. I can't ever deceive him. I can't ever, go behind his back, because he knows everything. Deep, what he's saying, deep what he's doing is a quality manipulative behaviors, In relationships, can I just be honest with you guys, in relationships, there are things which you should keep between your relationship, don't get twisted, but there are also times where you should be able to speak outwardly to somebody who can actually help your situation, you know what I'm saying, because if you always nuke the mouth, always say to the person, you can't talk about our relationship outside of these four walls, that person goes crazy. Not only that, but also it means that you get to create a narrative in terms of what's happening within the four walls, and that's how abuse actually starts, when they don't allow someone, they isolate somebody. The Bible says that the devil's seeking to and fro for whom he may devour. He's looking for somebody who's isolated. He's looking for somebody who's separate. He's looking for somebody who's away from the pack, just like a lion does, just like a hunter does, looking for a certain prey. It wants to separate one from the group, and that's why the Bible says, the devil's seeking to and fro for whom he may devour. So you can't be devoured, okay, by isolating yourself from all your friends and family. And that's why I'm happy that Kate kind of fought back today in this episode. But boom, we'll come to that. So when Kate was talking to Luke in the bedroom, and obviously then she admitted, oh yeah, that I told Jasmine. At first when he told Dr. Pepper, Luke was kind of smiling, and then as soon as she said, oh, I told Jasmine too, face dropped. Face went into hard cold mode.
This weekend, I talked to Jasmine about it.
Why? Because more people are going to know about his rubbish. The guy is just showing us what he really is about. Do you know what I'm saying? When she asked him obviously as well in that bedroom scene, look, give me an example of me obviously being loose-mouthed basically, and he makes a mention about obviously the honeymoon. And the thing is, that information was quality, and it needed to be let out. How dare you tell somebody that you feel repulsed by their kiss, and then when the person's saying, I need to tell somebody that this is what's happened, you're telling the person, you're going to use it against them and say to that person they got a loose mouth. And then you try to flip it in the car later on to say, obviously, it's because of your drinking problem. Bro, sorry, you want to come again? You because you want to say this, but I'll come into that in a second. We'll come to that in a second. At a certain point, Luke actually gives Kate this kind of telling off face. And I think a lot of abusers have this kind of thing when they do their facial features, where they want to show that obviously they disapprove of what you're doing. And it's amazing because obviously at the end of the day, he's not her parent, but you can see that the way that he acts with it and then puts on the face, it makes Kate unnervy, because Kate's also a very soft and delicate flower. She's not used to this, bro. She's not good at this, bro. Someone else with a bit more experience would have just finished this guy, but Kate's such a naive, soft, elegant flower that she doesn't want a confrontation. So the moment obviously he starts acting a certain way and he did that face,
and decision day is coming up, and this is literally the thing that I need to understand in our marriage, and if this is ever going to get better, and if you think it's going to get better, if you think the issue is me, if you think the issue is something else, because I'm not fully happy in the level of intimacy that we have, and
I know.
This is really hard. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know.
I'm sorry.
No.
where he kind of goes blank, and then he just started, he kind of, he made this kind of face where that he was like he's telling her off, And then she obviously then started crying, right? And she obviously started saying, then crying. I'm like, Kate, it's not everything cry. Sometimes get a backbone. You're a grown woman. Grow a backbone and be strong. You understand? And be strong. Don't let life kill you. You understand? Be strong. Yeah, so it's about says be strong in the Lord. So like it's crazy. So the one I was thinking about, I was like, Kate, like don't let him psych you out, because it's a psych out. He wants to psych you out into bending to his will. That's the whole reason why he does it. And then for Luke as well, he wanted to regain the control of the relationship. You know, when Kate's obviously confessing, instead of actually just listening to her out, hearing the whole situation to its fullest, you know, he says, "Can we leave now?"
Can we leave? All right, let's go.
And what he does is that he does that by that shifts the energy in that conversation and puts the ball right back in his courts, and then saying, look, I'm in control here. So when he says, oh look, can we leave now? Instead of finishing off the conversation, which was a deep conversation, he says, can we leave now? Instead of actually just having this conversation and then going, he decides, oh, can we leave now, so that he can distract the conversation from going where it needs to go to. He doesn't want to talk about these things. Do you know what I'm saying? And so because he doesn't want to talk about these things, yeah, boom, he does that. So he can manipulate situations. Mad, trust me. Luke tries to avoid the confrontation in the car. And one of the things he says, obviously, you want to have this conversation on camera. And when he says that, as well, he's just making sure that obviously she doesn't want to have this conversation on camera. What he wants to remind her is that, listen, I'm in control. And so what he does is making sure that obviously this conversation doesn't go on camera, the deepness of it, because he will be exposed if it does. And so it's funny because one of the things that happened actually is Kate actually said, when Kate actually checks him, I think it was at a point where, she was saying, oh, I'm bringing to you problems about why you're not attracted to me, etc. And you bring to me about by drinking. And he does that all the time. Now when they had to have a hard conversation, this was when they were in the pub, like the first early episodes, notice that he said, obviously, you're drinking, you're smoking. He always goes to that because he's looking for an exit route and a way out. So that's what he uses all the time as an excuse. Meanwhile, Kate's then saying, he said, obviously, I hate how you get when you're drunk and you forget when the night was out. But meanwhile, the last time that she was talking, she was just saying, obviously, you know what, she was drinking 2 wines a glass, and then he added 2 other wines a glass.
I had 4 glasses of wine that night.
Or more, yeah.
Yeah. On the honeymoon, I had 2 glasses of wine. You gave me your other 2, and then I was drunk.
Mm-hmm.
We went back to the room.
Mm-hmm.
We started talking about sex.
I hate all of this.
I'm sorry this is being filmed right now, but I wish it...
Just like when he delivered the 2 bottles of wine, when he's saying that obviously he doesn't like her drink problem, you've known that fam, she drinks, bro. And if you're saying you know that she has a drink problem, why were you bringing drinks? It doesn't make sense.
Close my eyes and sit somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take my shoes off.
Your eyes closed? Because I
No.
hope they are.
They're not.
Let's stop it.
All right.
All right, your favorite wine. So I got 2 bottles of duck wine.
I remember you talking about
Yeah,
this.
duck wine's it's fancy wine. So we have some wine, and I know you like whites.
Thank you.
Kate was very awkward to come into the new house, and she was a little reluctant last night.
That's crazy. That's ludicrous. So you're part of the problem, Luke. But you're not really trying to. You're not trying to hear that. Not even that he's not trying to hear that. But he is the problem, yeah. And then he tries to enlarge the problem so that it looks. He tries to enlarge it and then blame it on you. So he does the whole redirection again. Because instead of him just saying, "Listen, draw, it's my bad. I should not give you those drinks. I know that you can't handle your drink. Let me not give it to you." Who says that who says that when they've given you a drink that they're gonna blame you? You gave me the drink. I had 2 and you gave me another 2. So who are you to blame? It is Luke's fault.
You don't want to talk about your drinking problem. So every time they ask me in interviews, or anytime somebody tries to pull it out of me when we're at dinner or whatever, I just breeze over it. Because you don't want to talk about it again. You don't want it to be the focal point of everything, our entire thing, right?
It's almost like he's trying to get Kate into believing that she really has a drink problem. Now, there's no smoke without fire, don't get twisted. And I believe that there is something there. But in terms of actually there being a drinking problem, I don't know, because you're feeding her drinks. So how can I really know if she's got a drink problem? You're feeding her something that you know that she's got a problem with and that you complained about in last episode. I can't fully believe you. She said obviously, you know, she tries to initiate things in the bedroom, but he said obviously it's because you're drunk and I don't want to be doing that when you're intoxicated, etc., etc. And she said obviously, yeah, but I've been trying to get at you when I was not, you know, when I was sober, and you still rejected me. And that's the truth. Luke is playing a game. You know what I'm saying? He's playing a game. Oh man, it just drives me nuts, man.
I don't know, I just feel like I try to talk about things with you and then you get upset and I then get upset and
I just feel like when I give you answers, they're not the answers you want. And that way you reject them, and that way you think we don't talk about them.
you're right.
I want to be right. I want you to fully understand what you need to understand.
I understand that you're right.
Don't do that.
No, I get it now.
I mean, I could be more clear about it if you want.
I'm gonna put headphones in, I just need a minute.
All right, so you're done.
Why are you deflecting? Boom, boom, boom. And then she was like, you know what? Forget it. Like, forget it. And then she said, I'm going to put my headphones in and I'm going to go to just rest it. I'm going to rest it. I'm going to park it. And what's funny is the fact that when she said that, Luke said, oh, do you want me to explain? I'll explain to you. Da, da, da. And she said, no, don't worry. You're right. Don't worry. You're right. Don't worry. You're right. And then went and put the headphones in. And guess what? He lost the power and he lost the plot. He was pissed. You can tell by his face. He was annoyed. Why? Because it's all about gaining power and having control over the subject. That's how Luke works, unfortunately. And he couldn't do it. This time he couldn't career his way out of this one. Kate decided she's had enough. And that's the truth. When she had enough, she decided to have the strength to do what she needs to do. Boom. Man, I still can't believe it, man. When man said, obviously, you know, I was really happy with you this weekend. What do you mean? We shouldn't have with each other. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, listen. Little Black Book, you know what time it is? Yeah, I'm talking a bit quiet because it's late at night. But you know what time it is? Listen. You ain't got the minerals. You ain't got the minerals. You ain't got the minerals. What you talking about, baby? A little Black Book, you know what time it is.